Welcome, everybody. This is Matt from drawingtutorialsonline.com. Let me just make sure that I got this thing up here. Here we go. All right, sound is good. Welcome. This is Matt from drawingtutorialsonline.com. In this live stream, we're just going to be tackling drawing a portrait of this model over here to my right, I guess it is. And let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. All right. Okay. What I'd like to do is just make this window slightly smaller. Bear with me for a moment. It's just little old me here doing this live stream. I've got no staff, none of that. No staff, no crew, no helpers, no nothing. It's just me here. Hi, Elizabeth. I'm that just right with this lesson as I requested. I'm out of the door today, so I hope it will. Yeah, it's recorded, no doubt. It's recorded. You could check it out. I don't know. Hey, Leah, I don't know how good the recording quality is. I think when it's live, the video quality is like a little bit better. I don't know. Now, I have ample light in my studio, so light isn't really the problem. The problem is that there's like reflections everywhere, and I can barely see my reference. My photo reference is on the screen, so I'm trying to tone down the light a little bit, and I'm also trying not to get my wonderful head in the screen too much here. Okay, so let's do our warm-up. Now, I'm going to use the COL-ERASE pencil today, okay, kind of like no frills. And let me just do one thing. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I'm on the screen right here. Okay, this is my top. Good. And I'm going to do the same old thing I've been doing every single warm-up here on my live streams on YouTube. And I'm just drawing ovals. And I'm not really pressing down too hard. I'm just kind of getting the feel for the pencil. And I could press down hard eventually, but right now I'm trying to do what I call continuous line stacked ovals. One of the best things that you can do to warm up. And what you want to do next is you want to go into the letter C, and then you want to go into the opposite letter C, and then the letter C, and then the opposite letter C, and then the letter C, and then the opposite letter C. Now, what you don't want to do when you're doing the warm-ups is you don't want to do like constantly lifting your pencil off of the page. So it would be like the letter C with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, and then the opposite letter C with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Yeah, okay, this is called a split second. This is called multiple seconds. Now, I'm not saying you need to draw all of the drawings that you do with, continuous line. Even if you keep your pencil on the page for like a second, that's actually a long time if you're used to a tenth of a second, because this is a tenth of a second. And that's what so many people do. And once you get out of that habit, things tend to loosen up for you. So what you can also do, like I've showed you in the last previous weeks, is you can take an oval or two and start to go around the oval with these, what I like to call form lines. You can do them looping down, you can do them looping on a diagonal, and you can do the loops going vertical. The idea is that this is a two-dimensional oval and this is a three-dimensional oval, but it's really just a warm-up. And then the last thing that we can do here is we can do some long lines of action, and long lines of action are very good as well. And I love doing this. Now, another cool thing that I asked my students to try to practice, and it's just, draw shape. I'm just going to draw like a modified torso peanut shape and try to draw that line on the previous line. This is a great way for you to get your fingers warmed up, and it's perfect for your eye-hand coordination, and it's also really good for you to build up like your thick line, and it's awesome to do. And then maybe just close out with a little bit of some darker circles where you're pressing down harder, getting those lines darker, and getting those fingers warmed up. Okay, so that's my less than 5-minute warm-up. I think it's really, really important for you to get into the habit of doing this before you draw all the time. Okay, now let's say hello to some people. Sun Cara is here, Omar 911, Organic Paul. Hey, Paul, Everstorm, and Aura. Okay, so no problem, Aura. We're going to be doing a different portrait in our Zoom class today on drawingtutorialsonline.com. I'm going to be working with what I worked with last week when I did the Degas. I'm going to be using the Lyra graphite stick for that portrait, and I'm going to draw it a little bit bigger on newsprint. So I like that. It's going to be painterly. Today is just no frills, hardcore. Let's see if we can draw this portrait, and I'll hit on the basic techniques that I talk about over and over and over again. Okay, so I'm going to break out the new trusted COL-ERASE pencil today. I never draw with a new one. I've got a bunch of new ones, but I'm like saving them for like when the zombies come. But okay, listen. Let me get my paper to show you what paper I'm working on. 1 second. Listen, people, you know me. I'm not fancy. I use the same stuff over and over and over again, and today, Strathmore 400 series. It's easy. You can buy it anywhere. It's not super expensive, and for me, I just think that this paper is really super good for the COL-ERASE. Okay. Without further ado, let's just get started here. Now, what is my live area? So let's say this is the top of my piece of paper, and this is the bottom. I'm sorry, my head seems to be getting in a lot. Maybe the camera shifted, or so my live area is about 9.5 inches. Now, for me, a good portrait size, this type of portrait, is like 3.5 inches tall. I think I should draw it slightly bigger today, but 3.5 is not a bad size. With shoulders, maybe 4.5. Okay. Now, I would not draw. I have students in class. They literally draw the portrait like 1 inch tall when we're doing that's too small. 2 inches is like the bare minimum. I think 3 inches is a really good size. So you can actually get on in there with your pencil and make things happen. Okay. All right, cool. Let's get started here. Now, I've got 2 pieces of reference. I've got one up there because I've got so much glare on my screen. And let me just mark this side so I'm centered and center. Okay, cool. All right, now what I'm going to do first is... do I have enough room for that shoulder? So before you start anything, you should think about like your placement on the paper before you commit. So I'm just doing big angles first. Okay, I'm just looking. Okay, so I'm going to come a little bit lower here. All right, now we can maybe get going. So those first lines. So I'm going to do near the top of the hair, top of the head. So how am I starting? I am starting with big angles, okay? And I'm going to come on down the top front, cruising over here. Now, this whole pose is on a diagonal like that, okay? Let me just look at some of these comments here. Malik, welcome. I hope I'm saying that. Zoran, I remember this one. Good again. Hello from NYC. Sarah, welcome. And Tanuch, ooh, that's a fun name. I'm really bad at drawing portrait. It's been like 15 years. I know proportions well, but I failed to do the likeness. Okay, stick with me. I'm going a little slow right now. I've got to speed up, but we'll have some fun. Just, no pressure here. It's just fun. And so what I'm trying to do is get the basic shape of our model's head, and I'm also kind of doing this for placement, and so okay, that's maybe a good way for you to consider starting. Now, am I saying it's perfect? No. Am I saying it's the right size? No, I think I kind of drew it a little bit small, but I'll zoom in. So no, I did it perfect from what I told you. Look at my ruler. So from the top of the head to the bottom of the chin, that's 3.5 inches. What did I say? A good portrait size is 3.5 inches. I wanted to do it bigger, 4 inches. So this is a habit. Everybody has drawing habits. Now, okay, for those of you who struggle with drawing portraits, I can already see my angles are off, but it's all good. We'll fix it. You have got to first think about the overall angle of the head. And what I'm seeing is basically this side of the back of our model's hair is somewhat parallel with the front of the face, although this needs to be angled a little bit more. Now, you can go crazy with this and get very frustrated, but in the beginning of like your portrait drawing, I really do think that it's extremely valuable to go a little faster. And I'm talking way too much here, so what I need to do is stop talking and I need to draw. Well, I can't do that because it's a live stream, but I need to draw faster. So now I'm going to go back to what looks easy for you to draw. And I'm going to maybe do some of the back of our model's hair. Okay, I'm going to do the back of the neck. I don't want this model to have a linebacker's neck. And what I'm really trying to do here is shape of hair. Okay, and now this angles in a little bit more like that. And then we angle across this once again. So I'm going over what I already did. So I'm trying to, now I wish that paper wasn't so bouncy. Let me just pull it taut a little bit, because when that paper bounces like that, it drives me cuckoo. Okay, so yeah, this, just looking, don't be perfect with it, just kind of get this down. Now, forehead, eye area, eyelid area, eyelash area, cheekbone, and now I'm going to lower the chin. So I'm going to gesture down, and I'm going to say maybe the chin is here. That's better. Okay, that's a little bit better for me. So I'm using an organic line. Now, this is, you got to pay attention right here. What I'm going to do next is one of the most important things that you've got to listen, because people will do this chin jawline and they press down so hard and it separates the face from the neck, and you don't want to do that. You could press down a little bit harder right over here, but the rest of this jawline needs to be pretty light. So this angle of the jaw to the front of the ear is light, and it's kind of angled that way. And then I'm going to go across like that, but it's all going to become tone in a little bit. Now, I could move the neck over now that I've adjusted the chin. And yes, I'm going to do the chest over here. Let's come back and just get a sense of that shoulder, because when you're drawing a portrait, you always want to do head and shoulders. Now, the next thing that you really want to think about doing is focusing in on where the hair touches the face. We have the angle, and I can see a couple things are off, but if you feel like a couple things are off on your drawing, you don't, I haven't used my eraser. No eraser right now. Just continue to draw. So I'm going to get the ear angle, this portion of the hair. Look more at the reference than you look at your drawing. And then I'm going to cruise into the part of our model's hair. So I'm trying to get a sense of how tall is this compared to how tall is that. And maybe I'll lower this a little bit. And then we get the part of our model's hair. Okay, and then I'm not going to get the hair that is covering the forehead. I'm going to leave that out. So now part, and then we loop down to this side. Okay, so what we have, and now I'm going to zoom in for you, all right? Okay, better. And I think what I want to do is just resharpen this pencil. So just to recap here, what we said was we're looking for this big angle of our model's head. Don't think like strands of hair. Think big angle. And then we're looking at this angle, which is almost parallel with that one. I'm noticing the lower mouth region really dives in on a pretty severe angle. And we also put in the part of our model's hair. Okay, just because that's our center line. That's pretty important. And that tells me like I can adjust a couple of things here. So maybe I'll adjust and I'll adjust. Okay, I'm just going to pull the paper taut a little bit, see if that will work with my paper bounce. Probably not, but we tried. Okay. Now I'm going to start to, I might just do these angles and get a feel for if I like them. So forehead, oh, I see. The eyelid sticks out, and then it kind of comes down, and then lash. I don't want to go too long with that. Now, okay, back to this area. Cheekbone, curve. Trying to be exact with this. Okay, now chin angle, and then this. Okay, I'll take that. That's good enough for me right now. So what I want to do is cling on to one side, an area that looks somewhat easy for me to understand. And you always, try to stick with an area that's easy for you to understand. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. So taller hair, and now this wisps out. I said it. That's a tongue twister. Hair wisp out, and then in. And this is above our model's ear. It angles out, angles in, and then this is right next to the ear. And I can gesture that into the lower ear, but I'm going to leave it like that. And then we zoom out, and the hair, if I go across from the bottom of the hair, it's about right above the upper lip. So I don't have the lip in, but at least I'm aware and I'm conscious about that. So I need to lift it and just kind of maybe go like that. Okay. So important, what these things that, like, it's shape ahead first. Let me just look at some of these comments. Michael Burton, Michael Burton, URMB. Wow, I haven't seen you in a long time, man. How are you doing? Good to see you too. Wow, it's been a long time. Awesome. So yeah, how do I look? Do I look much older? Do I look like I'm 10 feet in the grave? Yeah, I'm taking care of myself. So I've got good energy. I've got good energy. Teaching the young students at SVA keeps me young. They keep me on my toes. But I do sometimes have more energy than they do because they're staying up till like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're paying so much money to come to SVA, and you are staying up till 4. And sometimes the students are in zombie mode during class. But yeah, okay, let me shut up right now. They're going to get mad at me. All right, so let's do this and jawbone. Now, this model has a very small ear, and I'm making that ear too big. So I'm going to bring it in. Do I bring it in? Do I have a linebacker neck? Do I bring it back? So that I'm getting stuck. And when you get stuck, you got to move on. Don't get stuck there. Just move on. So jawbone curves into that chin. Okay, cool. I'm still not sold on that ear, and I don't know if how I drew this head is too wide, but I'm going to leave it right now. So now I'm going to start with the line that separates the light from the shadow, and I'm starting on the hair. Okay, right there. And then I'm going down into the face. Now, again, for those of you who just joined us, I'm not going to draw the hair on our model's forehead because it's distracting. I want to leave that out. So I'm going to say this is our line that separates. Here's our line that separates the light from the shadow. I'm going into our model's eyelash area. I'm going to shade that. I'm getting a sense of where that is in relationship to the hair, and I'm too low with that. So I'm going to raise it. And yes, okay, yes, I'm going to use my eraser. Boom. Okay, since I pressed down nice and light, I'm okay with that. Now, oh, I see what I did wrong. Okay, this needs to be higher, that little shadow right there. And then we go cheekbone. Cheekbone, line that separates, and then it comes down a little bit straighter, And perhaps I can go a little lower with that chin. Awesome sauce. I haven't done a long portrait like this in a long time, YouTube. I'm constantly doing short drawings in my animation drawing class. Okay, so now I'm going to get this angle. So this is really what I enjoy doing the most, but I'm out of practice. So you're watching me practice online. There you go. Great way to sell your website, Matt. Practice online so people can think that you suck. Okay, so any questions, let me know. Let me know. I'm here to help. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to our model's neck, and I'm starting to make our model's neck a little bit thinner. Okay, and okay, so I'm cool with that right now, but what I need to do is I need to start putting in some value of tone. Okay, so let's do this, because some people, including me, see proportions with shapes. That's why, like, I'm never going to stop talking in the animation department that, yes, in a gesture pose, it is okay to use shapes, not just outlines. Outlines are great. I love outlines. They're sexy. They're all that jazz. But shape is the hallmark of everything for me, coming from a painter's background. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm not pressing down super hard. I'm not trying to get my darkest dark of the model's hair. I'm just getting in the first semblance of a shape, okay? And I'm even going to do that over here just to get a vibe. And I would call that shape like a middle tone shape, okay? It needs to be dark. I don't know how much I'm going to shade, how dark I'm going to go today on this live stream, but yes. Now, okay, at this point, look, I'm folding my arms. I'm trying to be artistic here. You got to step away from your drawing. And I've got reference over there. And look at the reference, look at your drawing. Look at the reference, look at your drawing. Kind of do it with rapid eye movement and get a sense. Is my head too small, too big, too wide, too square? And it's a little bit of a challenge right now, so, you know, we're very early on, but you should stop at this point in the game and just get a sense of things, okay? In this pose, yes, the model does have a fairly wide neck. Okay, cool. So now, let's see, I'm looking also at my screen, and I think it's important to look at the screen too, to get a sense of your drawing and the proportions of the photo. Oh, shop notification. What the heck? I don't even know what I bought. Jesus. Okay. It's probably I got a discount to something. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do next is I want to just go a little darker now with the hair, because I'm going to start to shade the face. And I want there to be a difference in the value between the hair and the shadow on the face. So I'm going to come over here. Now, listen, everybody on YouTube. One of the most important things that you could do that could improve your portrait drawing likeness immediately is to draw shape of hair versus shape of face. Now, everybody's going to do their own thing. People like the Riley method. I'm not saying the Riley method is bad. I think it's great. All these techniques are great. But what I found, what works best for me is shape of hair, shape of face, all day long. Because these are what? They're big shapes, and I love big shapes. Okay, so I've got a kind of a dark shape there. Now I can start to shade the face and the shadow side. It's form light. So let's see here. I'm just going to come in on a diagonal. I'm shading the ear. All of this is in shadow. We're getting basically the form of the head. I'm doing a diagonal, very generic stroke. And coming on down. Cool. Okay, beautiful. Now, I'm going to just try to make this solid. And I think that That's super duper important that you do this. Now, you should see your proportions right after you do this. And I'm struggling with I shouldn't say that. Like, if I say that I'm struggling, then I'm going to struggle. Um, so you have to, when you draw, you've got to watch the language that you talk to yourself with. If you say, "Oh, I suck at proportions," well, you're going to kind of suck at proportions. Your brain is going to listen to that, and it's going to think it's true, and you're gonna struggle. But if you say, "I'm getting better at drawing proportions," oh my God, like that's a better mindset to have. Okay, so I'm going to resharpen. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to keep a kind of a semi-dull pencil point for the eyebrows. Now, I like to think of the forehead as an upside down teacup to the eyebrows. So now the eyebrows are at angles. So this first eyebrow, you've got to look at the distance from the eyebrow to the hair. Like this distance is everything. And eyebrows, oh yeah, no, I got to sharpen this. Okay, 1 second. So Paola, I can't say that. I don't know why I can't pronounce that name. It's such a simple name. What do you think about zooming in the reference to get a better sense of the shape of some things? I could try that. I could try that, but let's see. I don't want to go too big with it. Okay. Is that a little bit better? Cool. All right. Let's see. Now, what I need to do is I'm drawing where I'm trying to draw same size as my reference. So I just made that bigger, and now I want to make how I see it smaller. Okay. So I'm kind of doing sight size. Okay. So good. Now, I'm just looking. I'm going to move over. Let me get my mono zero eraser. I'm going to move over the forehead ever so slightly. Yes. Just so I can get this angle a little bit more severe. So I've got this eyebrow now. Angles. And most importantly, the shadow on the side of the bridge of the nose, which is the eye socket shadow. Okay, so now just looking and studying, this eye comes out and comes out. I'm adjusting my proportions, lashes. So I'm going to be using my eraser momentarily to clean some of this up. And nose, and the tip of the nose, okay, is on the edge of the face. So I'm going to just suggest the bottom of the nose. Now, when I suggest the bottom of the nose, I'm looking at the distance from the nose lobe to the eye, and I'm looking at the distance from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin. So I don't hate that, and I don't love it. I'm still feeling things out here. There's a good distance between our model's nose and upper lip. That's a pretty good distance right there. So I'm going to suggest the upper lip, and I'm going to suggest the bottom of the lower lip, and I'm kind of drawing the lips as a unit of shape, and they're pretty tall. And this gal has like a model's face. Chin is very short. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to play with the eye. I'm not drawing people. I'm not drawing lashes. I am drawing shape. So I think I had it right the first time, but that's okay. I'm drawing very light pressure. And since I'm drawing light pressure, I could erase my mistakes. Cool. And I'm going to say this. Oh God, we're already into this, a half an hour? My goodness gracious, that's way too long. Okay, where is my mono zero? Right here. Okay, so I'm gonna do some erasing. I'm gonna erase. Awesome. Good, good, good. Okay, and now I'm going to maybe kick this out again. And I'm looking at shape. Just a soft little shape to indicate the shadow underneath that eyelid. And then, I'm kicking out the lash. And then I'm going to revisit the angles of our model's nose. And I'm looking at the right cheekbone area as I do this. How far away from this to the ear? How far is that distance? And once again, eyebrow. Okay, cool. So now you can see me fighting the eyes. This is good. This is good. So watch. You don't want to get stuck there. You want to move on. So now I'm going to move and work in another area. And I think maybe I might need to go a little lower with that chin. And I'm going to erase this because it's a little dark. Better. Okay. Now, at this point in the game, I've got to lean back. Look at the drawing from far away. Lean back. Look at the drawing from far away. Let's get some angles. So angle. Oh, I see. Angle. Lash. And I'm looking at angles. Good. And shape of the eyelash. And a little shadow over here. And there's the shadow on this side. Oh, tear duct. There's the shadow on this side of our model's eye. And that brow goes right into it. So remember, I'm not going to put that shape on our model's forehead. I want to leave that out. So now I might shade this once again. And we've got good. And let's come down. And I'm going to go a little bit more with the value here. Excellent. Into the neck SCM muscle and our chest, collarbone coming on down. And I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use my brush. Yes. Omar 911 mono eraser is expensive here. I got the electric one. Oh, cool. I never tried the electric one. So I just want to take this Bristol brush. It's a cheap, bright. And I'm just going to push my pencil into the paper. This COL-ERASE does this beautifully. And what this does is it solidifies everything, softens it, and you're ready now for the next go through to fix all of the things that you might not be so happy with. And so I'm going to start to soften some of this. And now it's almost like you put the paint down and now you're starting to blend. You can take the residual and don't be afraid to go outside the lines. Like, I think that's fine to do. It adds like a little bit to the texture. And I think that's kind of cool. Okay, so yeah. So at this point in the game, I don't have the likeness. And I'm okay with that right now because I'm fighting through it. It's sometimes drawings like really fight you, and you can't get frustrated, and you can't like over erase. Like you've got to just kind of like keep going with it. And I think it's really important that you um, pick an area that looks understandable. And for me, it's this area of the hair. So I'm going to go back and see what happens now when you draw with the COL-ERASE pencil. Like you get this beautiful softness. And now, like I can start to press down like a little bit harder. Now, the problem with this pencil, for those of you who use it, you know what I'm going to say. It just takes forever to get the darks. And so I'm just going to do the darks in certain areas right now because for me to match the values like exactly is just going to like take a year and a day to do that. So let's go back to this ear. Okay, eye, jawbone. So I'm just doing some marks that are like landmarks. So the jaw, let's see, bottom of the ear is right across from that eye. And there's a triangular shadow shape right there. And this ear could angle in a wee bit more. And then what I can do is bring the SCM muscle in a little bit. And this SCM muscle goes all the way down here, but I'm not going to sketch that too dark. And then the edge of the neck. Okay, back. I'm going to shade a little bit more over here at risk of overdoing it. I think I have the ear a little bit too big. Yes, I do. I'm just going to shade a little bit more over here before I start to like fret about the ear. And a little bit darker over here. Good, good, good. And a little bit darker over here, even though the dark goes all the way up to the light. I'm just trying to establish that darker value because that should help me with the proportions a little bit. Like these, matching these values sometimes is really, really important. Any questions, just let me know in the chat. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and maybe widen this part of our model's hair because it sneaks into the forehead right there. Okay, and then I'm going to cruise up. Okay, that's better. Awesome. So yeah, just stick with it. Stick with it. Watch the language that you're saying to yourself. Like don't say, "Oh, I suck at proportions." Just keep going with it and let the cards fall where they may. And you got to keep doing like these little mini measurements all the time, which a lot of people don't do because it's not romantic. It's a little tedious and but it's helpful. And right now I'm just trying to get a little bit more shape of value in just to see how I'm liking things proportion wise. And oh, I see. I got to just adjust my photo reference. Timeout. Better. Okay. It was covered by a little darker on the top. So wisp out and good. Push, 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 push with the COL-ERASE. COL-ERASE is not the best pencil for everybody. It's not the best pencil for every application. It's just one that I like, and I've been using it, I don't know how many years. I've got maybe since 2002, 2001 maybe. And a student introduced it to me, and I've loved it ever since. Okay, so I'm going to bring the hair in, but I'm not going to erase like over here. Now, I'll get back to the features in a second, people. Just time out. Like the edge of this area is so much more important than the features in terms of like your likeness and your proportions. Just suggesting the inside of the ear. When you do that ear area, please don't go too dark. Don't make that area like jet black. Keep it more on the middle tone side of things. Boy, that was a tongue twister. Okay, mono zero. Where did we go? I don't know if I would even like the electric mono zero. That seems like it would erase pretty strongly. Okay, so now reflected light over here. Good. And okay, so sideburn area, jaw area, and then it, oh, this is lower. Just looking. Okay, let's see. I'm going to drop the chin again. The hey. Okay. Cool. Okay, now, yeah, I'm going to resharpen again. All right, now let's go back up top. And I think the hair needs to be a little taller. Cruise into the part. I'm just going to put a little target up top over there. See how I like it. If it's like a little bit taller, I can always erase. Cool. And what would it be like if this kicked out a little bit more? Let's just feel that, what that's like. Good. Okay, now back to the eyebrow area. So angle, and angle over here. It angles out, and the eyelid angles down pretty severely. Let's erase this. Good. So yes, this eyebrow angles out. It angles in, and then you've got to get the lash. And then this eye is like, I'm looking at this area, it's like a pizza slice almost. I'm just looking at that shape. Okay, now cheekbone. So I right now I feel as though I have the eyes a little bit too close together. So I'll adjust that as I go. And okay, so this cheek rolls down. And shadow over here. Boy, I think I bit off more than I can chew today. I'm drawing like a little slow. But whatever you get from this live stream, I'm glad to help. And as long as I can help a little bit and any questions, just let me know. So this is really practice for you and practice for me. Like I said, I haven't done like a long drawing like this in quite some time. I'm always teaching like short stuff. And the students that I teach, they really like to do short drawings. For them, like a long drawing is a 20. And so it's just a different mindset. The animation department than say the illustration department. Okay, so I'm going to erase a little bit more over here. So for me to be using the eraser this much, you're watching me struggle. And it's good to watch a teacher struggle because you can relate a little bit more versus if the teacher's always getting stuff right like immediately. Okay, so I think what I need to do is I need to start to do the other facial features. So nose. Now the top of the nose area, this area needs to be so light. Do not press down hard. And I'm just going to, my students, I love the way that they draw noses. Like some of the students who do those anime faces, like they just suggest a little like shape under the nose. It just looks so cool. Okay, so now from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin, I'd say the bottom of the nose is there. Don't go too dark with that nostril, people. nostril area, side of the nose, and just that little. Now, that's all I'm going to do. Just leave it like that. Now, let's go to the lip. And the lip is center line, upper lip, center line. And I don't know if that needs to be taller. Higher up. I'm going to raise the nose ever so slightly. And I'm going to put that lip where I put the initial mark. Now, these lines, no big deal. The upper lip is in shadow, so I can blend all those lines together. Now, what's important is the dark in between the lips, and that's what I'm attempting to get in right now. Okay, and my music in the background is so low. And the last time I did a live stream, YouTube like picked it up, even with this microphone that I have. And like I shared like I don't make a lot of money off these videos, trust me. I barely make anything, to tell you the truth. And I shared my revenue with Bjork. It was pretty funny. And yeah. Okay, shadow over here. So I'm just really focusing in today on these shapes. So I'm kind of almost drawing like a painter. And I'm fighting it. And it's, again, it's all good. I'm admittedly telling you that I haven't done a long portrait in months. And so this is like in your face practice in front of everybody on YouTube. I love it. You just got to draw. It's just good practice. And I think you need to be able to do all of the disciplines, like a gesture pose. You should be able to do a long pose. I think it's really not good for you to get locked into one discipline. Like doing like a 1 minute, 2 minute gesture pose, after a while, that could be like, it starts to become almost like a little gimmicky, like a formula. And then there's certain things that you can do to make it look really super pretty. And that's a thing. And if you keep just doing that, you're not going to improve. I think it's just like imperative for you to do, yes, the short ones, but also like these longer, I wouldn't even call this long, like it's intermediate length here of time. Like long is, some people work on their drawings for like 30 hours. Like we're into this 47 minutes and I'm fighting the man here, trying to get like my likeness, but it's really not a long period of time when you really think about it. Okay. Okay, let me look at a couple of these comments. I like using 2mm lead and mechanical pencil. Yeah, that's cool, Omar. I've drawn with a mechanical pencil for many, many, many years. And Organic Paul, how do you get the eyeballs to point in the right direction? Okay, so let me just get my scrap piece of paper. So I drew this before the live stream just to get my hand moving. And so with this model's eyes, I see our model is looking down. So it's the axis of the way the eyes are going. So it's really, when you think about it, you're drawing a ball, right? And the ball, the eyelid is the ball. And then this is the shadow that the eyelashes cast on the eye area. So this is all just like an oval, and that's what that is. And then it's the axis of that like half circle of the pupil iris area. I hope that helped. Okay, so speaking of that, let's see. I'm going to lean back for a second. And I'm going to keep going. Even though my likeness isn't there, I'm just going to kind of go through it. Okay, Susan, I love watching you draw portraits. I recently have been studying Loomis construction heads. It's worthwhile to put the time in to learn that method. Yeah, I'm okay. Let me just get a little drink of water here. I couldn't agree more. Like It's all good. Like, some students just get so like rigid and locked into one teacher's teaching method, and they limit themselves. And I don't think that's good. Like, so, like, if somebody just recently left my website and they're like, I want to learn something different. I want to study the Loomis method. And I'm like, great, go for it. Because that's how school works. Like, you're not in one teacher's class all 4 years of college, if, that type of education. You are in a teacher's class maybe fall and spring semester, 15 weeks, and 30 weeks total with both semesters. And then other teachers, you're with them for just 15 weeks. Other teachers, you're with them for like a short course, 10 classes. And so it's good to learn all these different techniques and not become like too rigid and just say, oh, I took this teacher's class and they said that this is like the end all and be all. And then you get locked into that. And I don't think that's a good thing. That's just my opinion. Okay, we're getting there, people. We're getting there. I'm working slow today. Now, you see what I'm doing over here with the chin? I keep lowering it and I keep making it darker. You just got to be careful with that, because that could start to constitute like a little bit of a beard mustache thing. And yes, you don't want that too dark. But the chin needs to be there. It needs to be somewhat prominent. Okay, so I'm going to start over again. Actually, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to blend. Cynthia, quick question. How do you usually deal with drawings that have more than one light source? Like if I'm sketching in a cafe and there's light from the lamps, windows, and all that. Well, the strategy could be that you draw with line, and your shape is not going to be shape of light and shade, but your shape is going to be what's the value of the person's hair, what's the value of the person that you're drawing in the cafe, what's the value of their shirt, what's the value of their jeans, and what is the value of the coffee table. So you would be thinking more that way and not so much like light and shade. And then there might be like one or two areas that you would focus a little bit more on light and shade. Like with this portrait, there's two light sources. There's form light, and then there's this cool light coming from the left. And, the strategy should always be one of those light sources needs to be brighter than the other. Like I don't think it's good to have both light sources the same brightness. You could, like, rules are meant to be broken. But I think for simplicity, I think it's just easier on the drawing and easier on your eyes to make one of the light sources more powerful. And then you could just focus in. You don't need to. So in a coffee shop scenario where you are drawing, you do not need to draw everybody and everything. This is one of those scenarios where you manipulate what you see and you limit what you draw. And I don't have my razor blade. I want to just give me a second. I got to get up off my chair for a second. 1 second. Okay, so like sometimes I really like to sharpen the mono zero. Like you chisel a lot. I chiseled way too much because I rushed when I did that. But you make like a nice point to it. So then it's important to sometimes just be able to draw with a point on the eraser. And I should lighten this outline a little bit because I don't want it too dark. That will change the likeness. Okay. The likeness is starting for me a touch. It's not there yet, but it's starting to arrive ever so slowly. I just noticed a little likeness there for a split second, and I've got to work on this eye area. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Oh, I see now. Okay. So angle up, angle across. This nose comes out, comes in, and the tip of the nose comes out and touches the face. Good. And I'm going to leave that. I'm going way too dark with that line, and I'm going to pull it out later, but right now I'm going to leave it. And so I'm going to come back. How far away are these eyebrows from one another? Just focusing in on that eyebrow a touch. And, oh, I see. Okay, I need to deal with this eye. And I need to bring this in. And this is the bottom of that lid. Let's see. And this is just a ball. I don't want to go too light with it. I'm going to lighten the nose line and lower the hair. I just put a couple of lash lines in there. I think there needs to be this opposing angle on this lid here that I'm not capturing. Almost there, hopefully. Going a little slow. Okay, Dylanus, bonjour, Matthew. Hey, Dylan. That looks like a tangent to me. Wait, there's a rim light too. Yeah, it's. I've done better. I've done better. Glad I caught the live stream, Sabby. Been a while. Okay, awesome. Look. You're watching me fight through this. Isn't that fun? Watching the teacher struggle. Good times. Good times. All right. So the idea is just to keep powering through. Keep powering through and not giving up and just, keep adjusting. Now, are there times when I get it like in the first couple of, minutes? And yeah, absolutely. That's when you're on and things are clicking. And I love when that happens. There are other times where it's like, oh God, I'm not going to get, I have tutorials on my website where I didn't get the likeness until like the last half an hour when I did the last couple of strokes. That's when I got like the likeness, and I was like, oh, geez, thank God. I'm going to push back the ear, push back the neck. So sometimes that's how it goes. You just, your eye doesn't see it immediately. Maybe like you're a little distracted, and you just got to keep fighting through it and keep doing like those little mini measurement things. Okay, so I'm going to resharpen. I picked this, Dylan, because there was a rim light. Absolutely. Okay. I did it especially for you. Or do you have like, you don't have another sketchbook to film, do you? Because it would be really cool to kind of show your drive folder with all of like the perspective homeworks. My God, that would be awesome. Okay, let's see. So, God, for the struggle of it all. And got to be careful with these lines on the neck. You don't want them to be too pronounced. So yeah, we're in the grind at SVA, and it's not really a grind. I love teaching there, but it does take a toll on your body, like when you're a commuter, and it does take a toll on the students' body because they are staying up all night and they're in front of a computer screen, like constantly, like working. And yeah, so it does beat you up like a little bit. I'm gonna move this over again. So we've got 4, including this week. There are 4 more weeks. The last day for me, I think, is May 2nd. And man, from now until May 2nd, it's going to be a push. I haven't been absent once, and so I want to keep that streak going. But I know, like this Friday, I can feel it. It's going to be it's going to be a grind waking up at 5 a.m. to catch that train. Okay, what could I do next here? I think I need to work on features more. And one second. So I'm drawing with my, we got to spread the word of the holy rim light. Yes, we do. Rim light is where it's at. It's the sexy of the light sources. And yes, absolutely it is. Okay, so a little light over here. Ooh, that eye. It's saying, Matt, screw you today. We're not going to let you get this eye. So front plane of the nose. That's what it's saying to me. Screw you. You think you're going to draw this face easily? No, not really. Okay. Okay, let's tackle the nose area. Little suggestion. I've got it way too dark, which is changing the likeness. So you see, I know what to do, but knowing what to do and doing it are 2 different things. So like if you're going to draw from photos the way that I'm drawing like here today on YouTube, this is something that you need to do consistently. Like when I say consistently, I mean like almost every day. If you want to get good at drawing, like drawing from photos is a whole different discipline than what I do when I teach at SVA. So when I teach at SVA, most of the life drawing stuff is from a model on the modeling stand. And the other way that I draw in the classroom is kind of out of my imagination. So like if you're going to draw from a photo like this, you have to be somewhat like realistic, and you can't really think that you're not going to draw from a photo and do like a 2-hour drawing, and then all of a sudden you're going to pull like a rabbit out of your hat and be able to like crank this out like no problem. There is going to be like a little bit of a struggle, no doubt about it. So that's why I'm a big believer in the 3 disciplines. And the 3 disciplines are drawing from life, drawing from photos, and drawing out of your imagination. And if you can do all 3, then you're in a good place. Now, all 3 don't need to be equal time. Like you can do like your drawing out of your imagination could be your warm up, and you just sketch something out of your imagination. Drawing from a photo could be the bulk of what you do because you don't have access to a life drawing class. And then maybe your drawing from life is you drawing your pet cat sleeping on the sofa because it's organic, and that's what you have access to, a cat sleeping, and that's totally legit. Or maybe your life drawing is going to be more of a still life, and not live animals or humans, right? So if there's a will, there's a way, and you could always draw from life. You could, if you don't have access to a life drawing class, or you don't want to deal with like the nudity thing at like a life drawing class, you could go to the museum, and if you have access to a museum or a gallery, and draw there. So there's a lot of different ways that you can draw from life, but my point is this: I think you need to do all three. You need to draw from life, you need to draw from photos, and you need to draw out of your imagination. Now, when I ask my students in my classes, when they do their homework, I'm like, please get photo reference. They could get photo reference, but some of them have no idea how to draw from the photo reference because they've never really drawn from photo reference their whole life. So then when I ask them to draw from photo reference, like they physically cannot do it because they've never practiced that. So that's why I think it's paramount to do all three disciplines. Now, sometimes you want to leave your mistake lines in because they loosen everything up. Oh, there's Trinity. Okay, the master is here. Trinity, let's see here. Welcome, Trinity. Welcome. And you're watching me struggle. Isn't that so cool? By the way, would you draw those freckles without them standing out so much? I like freckles. I think they're really cool. I never put them in any of the models when I did book covers, like maybe one. You have to do them the right way, just like a little bit, so they don't look like something else. I like drawing people on the subway. Hey, there's Kat. Welcome. Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. I don't know about the subway. You're brave, Trinity. You're brave. If I'm on the subway, I'm basically staying alert. That's like my main goal on the subway. Stay alert and be aware. I'm not drawing on the subway. Absolutely not. But I'm also like more than double your age. So you have no fear. You just you're Trinity, right? Okay, so God. What else could we do on this portrait? I think I need to brush everything. So we can brush everything with this big brush. We've been at it for an hour plus. Devastator Omega. Have a theory, either your water or coffee will give your drawing superpowers. Coffee. But today it's just water. Okay. I'm just looking at my drawing on the screen, trying to get a sense of it. Okay. What I could say is this sucker needs a ton of work. Ton of work. Absolutely it does. Okay. So I'm going to lower this softly. Tear duct area. Shadow area. And oh, I see. We've got this little line over here. Very different than what I did last week with the Degas statues. A little bit more careful. This is what the animation students do not like to do. Now I can see why. So I'm just going to have fun, and I'm just going to try to power in some more tone here. Now my pencil stroke should go this way. I'm going to go darker here still. Gotta have a couple loose strands of hair so it doesn't look like helmet head. I'm just doing some angles here, just trying to figure it out. Okay, so separate the lips a little bit here with some dark tone. And I think I need to focus on this neck a little bit. A little bit of tone, go along with the line. This is going right into the collarbone. And, oh, I see. Okay. Usually I get the ears quicker than this. Not the detail of the ear, but the placement of the ear. This ear is like, not today, mother effer, you're in trouble. Press down hard, COL-ERASE sucks, COL-ERASE sucks. This pencil is really hard to press down hard, so just power it in. I'm trying not to break the point, but pressing down hard simultaneously. And let's do the same thing behind the ear. Loose strands of hair. I'm going to make the neck come out again to the left. Press down hard. It's loose strands of hair. Okay, and I'm going to stick with this semi-dull pencil. Dark halftone area around the trapezius. Curve around, curve around, curve around with a couple of form lines. I might make this taller again. And, okay, get in there slowly, very slowly. Just let me look at these comments. Would I ever do a live stream on muscle anatomy? Sure, that would actually be a cool one for next week. Yeah, I love that. I can draw the muscles out of my imagination from, torso, a lot of places, and I love that. So maybe that would be a good one for next week's live stream, like muscle anatomy, especially of the torso. Because when you draw like muscle anatomy, you've got to take it like bite-sized chunks or else you get really overwhelmed. And yeah, so that's a great idea. Maybe we'll do that next week. Because I can do that much faster than drawing like a likeness portrait. Because this thing's kicking my butt all day long. I don't dislike it, but I just need way more time to figure this out today. So I'm happy that I'm practicing this on YouTube because I don't do this really. There's no time during like the semester for me. I'm teaching at SVA and we're doing short gesture stuff, and I'm doing a lot of critiquing. And the summer starts for me May 2nd. And May 2nd, I'm going to be in my studio and I'll be doing long drawings all week. So I'll get this part of my skill set back up to snuff because I'll actually have time to sit down and do these types of drawings. And really, what it is, it's just time. You just got to sit down and, yeah, muscle time. Okay, so let's see here. What else can I do? Let's see, what time is it? I'll spend a little bit more time. I've got another class starting at 2. I'm going to just draw with the eraser a little bit. There we go. Here's the mono 0. Highlight above the lip. Nose. I should get the side plane of the nose, and maybe I will do the freckles. Maybe, Dylan, that's the secret to the likeness that I'm missing here today. Okay, let's see. Oh, back to the brush. Back to the brush. Great way to get the COL-ERASE to cover the paper fast and to create like a really soft drawn portrait thing, and use some of the residual from the brush to create like a little bit of atmosphere. This could be a darker value than the face. So I'll take a picture of this drawing, and I'll post it to the posts part of DTO channel here on YouTube. I like that option a lot. You know, the more you, let me get a bigger brush. So just trying to create some atmosphere and some vibe. So now I can draw more with the eraser. And I think what I'm going to also do, where did my pencil go? Oh, it's in my hand. There you go. Perfect. Okay, let me just take a step back here for a second and look at this. Yes, finger smearing. Use your grubby finger to smudge instead of, I've heard that's a good idea. Okay. Veb. Hey, Matt. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, no, I can't use my finger. That's terrible. That's sacrilegious. You get oil on the paper. And yeah, okay. I'm really abusing this paper right now. It feels like it's winter. Like there's like a windstorm outside. It's crazy. Couple of loose strands of hair once again. Dylan, see, this is like my homework, and you're watching me struggle. So you should critique me when I see you on Friday morning, when I'm going to be like dead Friday morning. Why is this out of focus? Feels a little out of focus. Okay, timeout. I just want to see something. So this drawing is, like I said, it's now 3 3/4 with the face. I'm just trying to get my camera to focus like a little bit more. So let's draw with this eraser. I'm just trying to lighten some lines here. If you go too dark with some of these lines, like it totally changes up the likeness. Okay. And just a couple more with the eraser. Around the lip. Rim light. I'm just lightening this area a little bit over here. It should be sharp. Just having fun with the eraser, showing you what you can do with it. I'm going to resharpen the pencil. Yeah, Jordan. Yeah. Oh, that guy. Yeah, the short guy. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. I should watch him and remember what the hell I teach. Yeah, my problem is I don't do this enough. The animation department has got me into 5-minute poses, and tops is like 10. It's crazy. I'm losing my touch. I'm going to maybe consider moving this. It's very, very soft and fuzzy on the live stream video, which I don't really like, but like I said, I'll post it to the post section of DTO. When you get to this part of the drawing, it's kind of like the fun part, because the paper now is creating these really cool sorts of like textures and stuff with the eraser when you erase out. And there's a lot of really cool stuff going on here in my studio. You can't feel it on YouTube with the paper. But the more I work on it, the more I like it. Oh man, my shoulder's gonna be screaming at me later tonight. I'm trying not to get my head in the video here, my back of my head, and let's see. I got to move up a little bit. I am so flipping far away from this drawing. I'm just doing some powering in of some value right now. Oh, I see. Okay, hold on now. Oop. Got to resharpen this sucker. Let me just look at some of these. I have the same. Yep. Hey, there's Paxton. How's it going? Landscape homework. Yes. Should be easy. That should be easier for you. No doubt. You're going to do really good this week. I know you are. Okay, let me just add some sharpness to the lips, and let's see what that does. Okay, so we've been at this for an hour and a half. This is what I got for you in an hour and a half, people. I'm going to work on it for like maybe 15 more minutes, and then we will call this thing done. Okay, so questions about this, just post them up in the chat. And yeah, so again, practice. This is good practice for me. I want to do more of these like longer drawings. Like again, an hour and a half is not a long drawing. I understand that. My illustration book covers used to take me 7 to 10 days, depending on how many people were on the book cover. So this is nothing. This would be like, mixing paint back in the day. Absolutely, it would be. Yeah, that chin should be easy, and it's kicking my butt. Let's see here. Let's go. I don't want to go too dark here. A lot going on with these lips. That is so hard to see. Oh, I see this. I need to pull out a surface plane over here with this eraser. And on the top. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm going to be drawing for an hour from 2:30 to 3:30. And so I got to do some stretches after this. Holy Moses. Sitting in this chair is going to destroy. Not used to sitting in this chair for this long drawing. Okay. Now, let's put in the reflected light over here and see what that does. Lots of layers to this piece. some cast shadows of those lashes. And maybe I will do the freckles. So now the rest of this drawing, quite frankly, is meditation. It's just chilling out, listening to the music that you like to listen to, and just hanging out. I'll put this on the thumbnail of the video because you'll be able to see it there too. But like I said, I'll put this in the post section of DTO channel. All right, let's see. Any questions? Cynthia, so when drawing lips, what basic shapes do you recommend breaking them down into? So, Galder, who is Galder? Hello. Basically, my philosophy with drawing lips is that the upper lip, most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, is in shadow. And most of the time, the lower lip is catching light. And the lower lip casts a shadow on the top portion of the chin. And that is really what is happening on this pose. The upper lip is in shadow and the lower lip is in light, and the lower lip is casting a little bit of a shadow. Now, the worst thing that you can do with lips is outline them, in my opinion, for this style drawing. But yeah, that's my approach to it. And it's usually 9 out of 10 times it's always like that. Lower lip is not outlined and it's catching light. The other thing that's going down with this is that the background is pretty dark. And that's a whole nother can of worms. That's like not enough time to shade that. But if you're struggling with likeness, sometimes to shade the background is helpful. All right. I'm just putting some what I feel are the finishing touches. I definitely haven't captured the likeness in this hour and a half that we've been drawing here together. And yeah, a couple more minutes. We'll call this one done. We'll call this exercise of practice done. A little clef in the chin. Man, these eyes kicked my butt today. A little bit more light on this cheek. I'm really a little outline based today. And back to this nose. And freckles. I'm going to go against what I said, and I'm going to put the strokes of hair on the forehead. A little bit darker over here. And maybe a little darker under the nose. I don't like to go too dark under the nose. And I'm going to push the neck out to the left. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had good time watching me struggle doing this drawing. The likeness isn't there yet. You know, I could say with my language, I screwed up, I suck, the likeness isn't there. Of course I can say that. But it's better when you're assessing your drawing, it's only an hour and a half, hour and a half of drawing time. It's better to say, ah, God, I didn't get the likeness yet. Okay, not I suck at likeness, I should have gotten this. What is wrong with me? I suck at drawing, la-di-da-di-da. Don't do that. Just, you're not there yet with it. I'm not there yet with it. And so what did I learn from this drawing that I did here today on YouTube? Well, basically what I learned is that I need to, if I want to do these types of drawings, I need to do this more often. You have to be realistic. You know, sure, I've been drawing my whole life, and I've done this professionally for most of my life, and that takes you so far. There's this thing called eye-hand coordination practice that will, you know, cut you up and spit you out, and if you don't practice that eye-hand coordination with these long duration drawings, and that's just something that you can't fake. You have to practice, and yeah, absolutely, you have to practice the long duration drawings if you want to be able to consistently get the likeness. A couple more freckles I think would be fun. Part of me wants to do another long one next week, but we'll do the anatomy thing, and then maybe we'll do another one. And yeah, this was fun. This was fun. You know, I get to the point now where I like my stubbornness kicks in, and I don't want to stop until I'm somewhat satisfied with it. I'm kicking in the chin. Any last questions? Because I'm almost done here with this, regardless of whether I like it or not. What else can I do on this sucker? Your perspective is extremely valuable in staying motivated. Hey, Nancy. Yeah, I mean, Nancy, look, you've taken my classes on Zoom so many times and you've seen me struggle. And you just gotta, you gotta fight through it. You have your good days and you have your bad days. And again, sometimes expectations is I got to be careful with that word, expectations, because I have the expectation that I should be able to get this likeness every time, all day, all day, 7 days a week. I should be able to do that where I'm at in my career here. But then, sometimes it just doesn't happen because you don't practice this style of drawing enough. So the expectation is a little bit unrealistic because, this is a certain type of discipline. Like weightlifting is completely different than jogging. And jogging is completely different than sprinting. And so if you're a marathon runner and then all of a sudden you think, oh yeah, I run every day. I run 50 miles a week, and then you think you're going to win the sprint, maybe not. Okay. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Am I having lunch, Paxton? I need to. My other class starts in an hour and 19 minutes, so I'm going to have like a fat bomb, which is my bulletproof coffee. And if you don't know what bulletproof coffee is, you should look it up on YouTube. It is from David Asprey. And, oh boy, my pencil sharpener is destroying this brand new pencil. Hold on. David Asprey makes bulletproof coffee, which is a type of coffee. His new company is called Danger Coffee. It has like electrolytes in it, and it's mold free. It's really, really good coffee. And he puts MCT oil in the coffee, and this is for people who are on a ketogenic diet. And oh boy, I'm talking about diet again. I do this all the time to my students, and they roll their eyes. It's for people who are on a ketogenic diet, and it's MCT oil in the coffee with grass-fed butter. And yeah, it's a fat bomb. And it also, like those two ingredients, like fat and, well, they're both fat, but you can still fast with fat because it doesn't release insulin. And so it's a great way to stay on a long fast. And yeah, keep your ketones up and all that jazz. Okay, I think this thing's got to be done because now I'm talking about ketones. And if I'm talking about ketones, we're all in trouble, people. Oh, there's a strand of hair over here. I forgot that. We're all in trouble if I'm talking about ketones. I'm obsessed with this stuff. When you get older and your body aches when you wake up, you tend to want to be healthy. And so, yeah, food is huge. And so that's going to be my lunch, Paxton. Butter eats grass? No, grass-fed butter. That just means cows are not eating grains and they're in the field eating grass. And yes, that's what that means. Okay. This is done, people. I think I am done. I've got to put this sucker. I got to go have my coffee. Get ready for the next class, which is going to be another portrait. Now, this is where I've been drawing for an hour and 45 minutes. And my shoulder's going to start to scream at me, but I've got to do a little self-promotion here. And you can leave if you don't want to hear me. But if you liked what you saw, if you liked me struggling on this video, well, you could take a look at drawingtutorialsonline.com. And what is the difference between drawingtutorialsonline.com and my YouTube channel? Well, basically the difference is that on my website, I critique your artwork, both weekly through the critique gallery where you upload your artwork and I draw on top of it. And then the other way that I critique your artwork is that I visit with you on Zoom and I look at your artwork as at the end. So we draw on Zoom for like an hour and then we talk about each other's artwork and everybody shares their artwork for another hour. And that's feedback. And if you don't get feedback, that's not good because you could be holding back your progress for years, because sometimes just one sentence a teacher says could change everything for you and open up your eyes to like another universe. So that really is what Drawing Tutorials Online is about versus my YouTube channel, because I'm not looking at your artwork to see what you could be doing better here as I'm doing the live stream. You're watching me draw, and that's good, but there's a limit to you watching artists draw. Sometimes like you need to stop and you need to be like, okay, let's have somebody look at my artwork and give me some like legit feedback from somebody who's been doing this their whole lives and been teaching for, I don't even want to tell you how many years I've been teaching, but let's just say it's a lot. Okay, I'm done. I gotta stop. Oh my God, my shoulder. Okay, cool. Thank you, everybody. Make sure to like, and thank you for the, I'm not like really a YouTuber. Kat, thank you for that reminder. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Yes, and what would be phenomenal is if you can leave in the regular comment section to this video when the live stream is over, if you can just leave, maybe the neck needs to be wider. Leave a comment there giving me ideas as to what you want me to draw next. Now, next week we're going to do anatomy. And I'm going to draw the torso, and I'm going to draw other parts of the body, not the whole body, but the easy parts, so you can see what is most important with the anatomy. And I will show you how to draw the torso peanut shape out of your imagination with all of the muscles on the front, and then we will talk about the muscles on the back and the bones. So we'll build up the torso peanut shape with bones, and then we'll add muscles. Okay. Yeah, Kat, thank you very much. You're now my new YouTube assistant. I appreciate you. And always grass-fed, never grain-fed. It's good advice, absolutely. Okay, people, thank you for watching this live stream. And I hope you had a good chuckle watching me struggle through this portrait. I'll post it up in the posts part of my website so you can see the drawing a little bit bigger. And I should post this to my Instagram, but I'll never do it because I don't have time. And thank you, everybody. And make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next week. Have a good time this weekend. Be good.